What if I told you that one of the biggest cyber attacks in U.S. history didn't come from a foreign power or a shadowy criminal organization, but from someone sitting in a cramped apartment just blocks from a high school football field? Someone who, by all accounts, looked like the kid next door, but who nearly plunged an entire city into chaos. Tonight, on Bite Crimes, we're pulling back the digital curtain on a story that will make you question everything you thought you knew about security, trust, and the invisible war happening behind your screen. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe to Bite Crimes for more jaw-dropping true cyber stories like this. The city was still asleep when the first signs of trouble appeared. It started with flickering streetlights in downtown Phoenix, Arizona. Then, traffic lights went black during the morning rush hour. At first, drivers thought it was a random power outage, something the utility company would handle in minutes. But by 8 a.m., hospitals began reporting system failures. Ambulances couldn't route properly. Digital patient files were locked out. And then came the real gut punch. ATMs across the city froze, accounts showed negative balances, and panic started spreading faster than wildfire. By noon, the Phoenix Police Department confirmed what everyone feared. This wasn't a glitch. It was a hack, a massive, coordinated cyber attack on the city's critical infrastructure. At Banner Medical Center, ER nurse Lisa Tran was on the verge of tears. She had 3 patients waiting for emergency surgery, and their digital charts had vanished. Surgeons were relying on scraps of paper and memory. Across town, James McAllister, a retired teacher, stood helpless in front of an ATM screen flashing "account suspended." His entire pension gone in an instant. "This isn't just about money," James told a local reporter later. "This feels like someone reached into my life and tore everything apart." The community was terrified, vulnerable, and angry. And for investigators, one chilling question loomed. Who had the power to pull this off? What made this attack so shocking wasn't just the scale. It was the precision. The hacker didn't just crash systems. They rewrote code in real time, rerouting payments, disabling emergency alerts, and even planting fake messages inside official city websites. City Hall's homepage displayed a taunting banner by 2:15 p.m. "Your city is now mine. Pay $5 million in Monero if you want control back." Clock's ticking. Ghost. The name would become infamous. Ghost, the faceless hacker who turned Phoenix into his personal playground. But here's the twist. When the FBI traced the code, they discovered something that made their blood run cold. The attack didn't originate overseas or from a dark web syndicate. The signal came from inside the United States, less than 200 miles away. FBI Cyber Division set up a war room within hours. Agents huddled over glowing monitors, lines of code scrolling endlessly as they worked to dissect the breach. "Look at this," Special Agent Maria Torres muttered, pointing at the code on her screen. "It's elegant. Too elegant. Whoever did this knows U.S. infrastructure inside and out. This isn't some kid in a hoodie." But Agent Torres was wrong, and that was the first of many mistakes. To understand Ghost, we need to rewind to a boy named Ethan Cole. Ethan grew up in a quiet Arizona suburb. Skinny kid, awkward smile, always glued to a laptop. Teachers said he had a gift for computers, but he never quite fit in. While other kids played football, Ethan spent nights exploring forums where hackers talked in riddles. By 14, he wasn't just reading, he was contributing. On Reddit threads and encrypted chat rooms. He went by a name no one would recognize and Nullbyte. He built scripts that crashed school servers just for fun. Teachers called his parents in. They shrugged it off as boys being boys. But Ethan wasn't just curious. He was hungry for control, for recognition, for a sense of power in a world that made him feel invisible. And when his father lost his job during an economic downturn, something in Ethan snapped. He started seeing vulnerabilities everywhere: banks, hospitals, government agencies. To him, these weren't institutions. They were targets. What do you think so far? Could someone like Ethan really pull this off? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm reading every single one. By day 2 of the attack, Phoenix was at a standstill. The FBI thought they were closing in until Ghost made his next move. At exactly 10 a.m., every traffic billboard in the city lit up with the same message. You're running out of time. Tick, tock. And then, as if to prove a point, he crashed the 911 system. For 45 terrifying minutes, no emergency calls went through. Parents clutched their children a little tighter. Businesses shut their doors. The city was bleeding millions by the hour. Agent Torres slammed her fist on the table. We need a lead. Anything. And then they got one. A junior analyst noticed something buried in the code, a snippet referencing L4G 2020. At first, it looked random, but then someone realized it was shorthand for Laguna High School class of 2020. Why would a cybercriminal taunt them with a high school reference? Unless the FBI cross-referenced alumni lists with known hacker communities. And that's when a name popped up, Ethan Cole, the kid who once hacked his school for fun. The kid no one paid attention to. The kid now suspected of bringing a major U.S. city to its knees. But here's the thing. When agents stormed his last known address, Ethan was gone. And in his empty bedroom, they found something that sent chills down their spine. A laptop still warm and a countdown timer blinking on the screen. What happens when the clock hits 0? Agent Torres stared at the screen. 47 hours, 59 minutes, and 23 seconds. 47 hours until what? Could be a data wipe. Could be a second wave, muttered Special Agent Ryan Blake, running his hand through his hair. Or maybe it's a bluff. Torres shook her head. Ghost doesn't bluff. She was right. Whoever Ethan had become, he wasn't looking for chaos anymore. He was orchestrating it with chilling precision. The analyst went to work, combing through every byte of the laptop's data. Most files were encrypted beyond comprehension. But buried in a hidden partition was a fragment of an audio file, a distorted voice repeating the phrase, "Power is perception. When they fear you, they obey." The timestamp on the file? Just 2 hours before the citywide blackout began. The FBI realized something critical. This wasn't just a ransom job. Ghost had a manifesto, a philosophy. This was personal. While tech teams decrypted code, behavioral analysts built Ethan's psychological profile. He wasn't your typical cybercriminal driven by greed. No, Ethan's trail of posts in obscure forums revealed something darker: resentment. Posts under the alias Nullbyte dripped with disdain for authority, corporate greed, and government surveillance. One post stood out: "They lock us in systems, then act shocked when we learn how to pick the locks." Maybe they should fear the kids they ignored. Torres slammed the printed post on the desk. This kid wants to be a god in a world that makes him feel like nothing. And now, he had the power to make an entire city bow. Just when hope seemed slim, a breakthrough came, not from tech, but from a human source. An informant in a dark web market tipped the Bureau about a private Monero wallet linked to a user named Nullbyte Prime. The kicker? The account had been accessed from a coffee shop in Flagstaff less than 24 hours ago. The Bureau dispatched a team immediately. They combed through security footage frame by frame until they saw him, a lean young man in a gray hoodie, eyes darting behind wire-rimmed glasses, tapping away on a sleek laptop plastered with stickers like "Hack the Planet" and "No sysadmins, no masters." But Ethan didn't just pay for coffee and leave. He left something behind, a USB drive taped under the table. Was it a mistake or a message? The driver was rushed to the lab. Analysts debated if it was bait, infected with malware. But when they isolated it, they found a single text file titled, "Do you see me now?" Inside was a list of names, hundreds of them: bank executives, politicians, corporate CEOs. Next to each name was an amount of money: millions, billions, and at the top, in bold letters, "Redistribution Day. 8 o'clock, you have 36 hours. Torres stared at the list, her gut twisting. He's planning a mass financial breach. This isn't ransom. This is economic warfare. News leaked to press, and Phoenix spiraled deeper into panic. Grocery stores ran out of cash as people hoarded bills. Banks froze withdrawals. Local news anchors warned residents to stay calm. But calm was impossible when Ghost hijacked the city's emergency alert system and broadcast a chilling message to every phone. Tick, tock. When the clock strikes 0, your world resets. Parents pull their kids from school. Gun stores reported record sales. Fear was now a currency, and Ghost was rich. What would you do if your city fell under a digital siege like this? Drop your survival strategy in the comments below. While chaos brewed outside, let's pause to step inside Ethan's head. Imagine a kid who grew up invisible, laughed at for being a computer nerd, and watching his father lose everything because of a corporate downsizing decision made in a glass tower. To Ethan, this wasn't crime, it was justice. A rebalancing act in a world rigged for the powerful. But somewhere along the way, justice turned into obsession, and obsession turned lethal. With less than 30 hours left, the FBI made a bold move. They planted a fake backdoor in one of the compromised systems, hoping Ethan would bite. And he did, almost too quickly. A digital handshake pinged their sensors, leading agents to an IP address bouncing through layers of proxies. But after peeling back the final layer, the trace ended in an elementary school computer lab. What the hell? Agent Blake cursed. He's toying with us. Ghost had routed his attack through dozens of innocent networks, leaving investigators chasing ghosts, literally. Then came an unexpected break. From Ethan's own arrogance, a cybersecurity blogger known as CryptoCat posted a mysterious tweet. Some kids never learn. Some kids just level up. Hashtag no bite, hashtag Laguna 2020-inch. Torres knew this wasn't a coincidence. She reached out through encrypted channels, and after tense negotiations, CryptoCat agreed to talk. Off record. What they revealed changed everything. Ethan wasn't alone anymore. He had a team, hackers from Russia, Eastern Europe, and even inside the U.S., all orbiting Ethan like planets around the sun. They weren't in it for money. They were in it for the chaos. By midnight, the countdown had dipped below 24 hours. Torres sat in the war room, the glow of monitors casting deep shadows on her face. Every second felt heavier than the last. Then, without warning, every screen in the room flickered black. For 10 breathless seconds, agents stared into darkness. And then, a single image appeared, a live video feed. Ethan Cole, staring straight into the camera. Hoodie up, eyes cold. "Hello, America," he said calmly. "I told you. When the clock hits 0, your world resets." He leaned closer, his voice almost a whisper. "See you on the other side." And then the feed cut to black, replaced by a timer now ticking down in every federal system. 23:59:59. The Phoenix attack was no longer a local disaster. It was national. Stock markets dipped as rumors of cybergeddon spread. Banks scrambled to freeze systems. Air traffic controllers initiated manual override protocols, fearing ghosts would target the skies next. Cable news anchors repeated the same chilling headline. The ghost in the code. Is America under siege? Politicians demanded answers. Senators tweeted about unprecedented cyber terror. And deep in the FBI's war room, Agent Maria Torres felt the weight of the country on her shoulders. The team had one lead. Ghost wasn't working alone. His dark web collective, self-styled as Project Rebirth, was spread across continents. The FBI reached out to Interpol, NSA, and every cyber unit on the planet. But for every door they tried to break down, Ghost seemed 2 steps ahead. One analyst compared it to chasing a shadow in a hall of mirrors. But then a crack appeared. While digging through Ghost's latest malware update, analysts found something curious. A single line of sloppy code buried under thousands of perfect ones. "Hi, Mom." It didn't belong. Ghost's work was flawless, elegant. Why leave a personal note? Unless it wasn't him. Agent Torres slammed her hand on the table. He's not alone, remember? Maybe someone else in the group is getting sloppy. This was huge. A traceable mistake. And it led them to an IP pinging from a safe house in Austin, Texas. The tactical team stormed the safe house at dawn. Inside, monitors glowed like a miniature NASA command center. 3 hackers sat frozen in shock, hands hovering over keyboards. Among the seized evidence was a gold mine, encrypted chat logs from Project Rebirth's private server. In those logs, Ethan's voice loomed large. His username, No Bite Prime. One line, made Torres's blood run cold. The reset isn't just Phoenix. It's everywhere. The ghost wasn't bluffing. If his plan worked, banks, hospitals, utilities, the entire American financial system would collapse in less than 24 hours. If you were the FBI right now, what would be your move? Negotiate or go to war? Drop your thoughts in the comments. With pressure mounting, the Bureau faced a critical choice. Pay the ransom, risking an unstoppable precedent. Refuse and fight, risking an economic apocalypse. Director Harrison made the call. Stall him. Keep Ethan talking by time and find a way in. Torres opened a secure channel to Ghost. Torres, you don't have to do this, Ethan. Ghost, don't pretend you care, Agent. You never cared about kids like me. None of you did. Torres, this isn't justice. It's chaos. Ghost, chaos is the only honest system left. Then he dropped the bombshell. When the clock hits 0, wealth resets. Every billionaire becomes broke. Every broke kid becomes free. This wasn't about money anymore. It was about ideology. Ethan saw himself as a digital Robin Hood. Except instead of stealing from the rich, he was torching the system itself. The FBI cyber team launched an all-out assault on Ghost Network. Firewalls against firewalls. Code against code. It wasn't just a hack. It was war in a language only machines understood. One agent described it as fighting with swords made of lightning. But Ghost anticipated every move. Every trace led to a dead end. Every exploit was patched before they could break through. It was like he was inside their heads. And then Torres realized something chilling. He's watching us. Right now. They checked. Cameras in the war room had been hijacked. Their own monitors were feeding Ghost a live stream of their every move. With options dwindling, Torres turned to someone she swore she'd never work with, a convicted hacker serving 12 years in federal prison. His name, Dante Zero Cool Vega. Zero Cool was a legend in the hacking world before Ghost. He took down Fortune 500 giants before being caught in an FBI sting. Torres hated him. But if anyone could think like Ethan, it was him. Their exchange was tense. Torres, help us stop him, and maybe you walk out of here a free man. Zero Cool, what's in it for me? Torres, your freedom and maybe a little redemption. Zero Cool, redemption's overrated. But freedom? That's priceless. And just like that, the FBI had their wild card. Zero Cool studied Ghost code for hours, then smirked. He's good. Scary good. But he's got to tell. See this encryption key? It's custom, which means it's personal. He built it on a machine he trusted. Find the machine, you find Ghost. But there was a catch. To locate the machine, someone would have to dive into Ghost Network from inside. A move so dangerous it could fry every federal system connected to the attempt. Torres stared at the screen, knowing the risk. Then she nodded. Do it. The clock ticked mercilessly. 09:12:47. 09:12:46. As the Bureau launched their digital Trojan horse, alarms blared. The Ghost had detected the intrusion, and instead of blocking them, he opened the door. Every monitor in the war room flickered, replaced by Ghost's calm face. Ghost, bold move, agent. But here's the thing about Ghost, you can't catch what isn't there. Then behind him, something caught Torres's eye, a reflection, a neon sign in a window. She froze the frame and zoomed in. It read, Red Mesa Motel. Ghost wasn't in some offshore bunker. He was in Arizona, right under their noses. Torres grabbed a tactical vest and shouted, Move! We've got him. But as the convoy sped toward the motel, Ghost dropped one last message across every hack screen in America. You've got 8 hours. Choose wisely. Save your system or save your people. Then the feed cut, and the timer kept ticking. 08:00:00. When the FBI storms the Red Mesa Motel, what will they find? A scared kid? A digital god? Or something far worse? Convoys roared down an empty Arizona highway, dust swirling under flashing lights. Agent Torres rode shotgun, heart pounding. She had one thought. Please, God, let him be there. They arrived just before dawn. The Red Mesa Motel was a decaying strip of rooms. neon signs sputtering like a dying heartbeat. FBI snipers took positions. Room 14, the local SWAT commander whispered. On Torres's signal, the team hit the door with a battering ram. Though it splintered, hinges groaned, and then, boom, a deafening blast threw agents backward. The room was empty except for a single chair and a laptop screen, glowing with 3 words. Too slow, Torres. And then the screen went black. The explosion wasn't lethal, just a concussive blast. Ghost didn't want blood. He wanted drama. Fear was his weapon, and he wielded it flawlessly, as medics treated minor injuries. Torres stared at the charred laptop fragments. "He's taunting us," she muttered. Then her radio crackled. "Ma'am, you need to see this. Now." They pulled up Ghost's latest broadcast, streaming across every hacked device in Phoenix. His hood was down this time, revealing his face in full. The boy next door look was gone. His hair was cropped short, eyes hollow, like someone who had stared into the void and decided to become it. 7 hours, he said calmly. Tick-tock. While you waste time chasing ghosts, I'm already rewriting the rules. Behind him, for the briefest moment, something appeared on the wall. A mural, a desert sunset, and a biker bar logo. Analyst froze the frame, enhanced it, and zoomed. Sundown Bar and Grill, Route 17. Torres grabbed her vest. "Mount up. He wants us to follow." The Bureau hit Sundown Bar with everything they had. Helicopters, drones, cyber teams on standby. The place was empty except for rows of dusty beer bottles and a jukebox humming an old rock tune. On the bar counter sat another laptop, its camera already active. Ghost's voice boomed through speakers. "Congrats, Maria. You're predictable. But here's a fun twist. Every second you spend here, another piece of your precious system burns." And then the screens lit up with a horrifying image. Power grids along the East Coast flickering offline. New York plunged into darkness. Hospitals scrambling on backup generators. Flights grounded. The message was clear. Ghost wasn't bluffing anymore. The reset had already begun. If you were Agent Torres, what would you do right now? Keep chasing or cut the deal? Tell me in the comments. As chaos spread, Torres knew one thing. They needed Ethan alive. Killing him wouldn't stop the code. That's when Zero Cool, remember him? The FBI's hacker for hire, made his move. Zero Cool. "Listen, you're never going to outgun him in code. But I know his kind. You got to make him come to you." Torres. "And how do we do that?" Zero Cool. "Hit him where it hurts, his ego." The plan. Launch a fake counterattack under a new alias, claiming to backdoor Ghost's own malware. Make him believe someone just out-hacked the invincible Ghost. The bait went live within the hour. A message blasted across the same networks Ghost controlled. "Nice try, kid, but your reset just became my playground. Reaper." Within minutes, Ghost responded on a private channel. Ghost. "Who the hell is Reaper?" Hook. Line. Sync. While Ghost raged in encrypted messages, Zero Cool played his part perfectly as Reaper. The digital dialogue unfolded like a high-stakes poker game. Ghost. "You think you can hijack my system?" Reaper. "Already did. Ask Phoenix if it still belongs to you." Ghost. "Liar. You don't have a key." Reaper. "Funny thing about keys, they open doors you didn't know existed." Ghost took the bait, demanding proof. Zero Cool fed him doctored screenshots showing critical access to his network. Finally, Ghost snapped. "Ghost, face me. One-on-one. Dark Grid. Midnight." Dark Grid wasn't just any server. It was a virtual gladiator arena for hackers. No law, no rules, just raw code warfare. Torres had her opening. "We'll trace him when he logs in," she told the team. This ends tonight. At 11:59 p.m., the Dark Grid server lit up with thousands of anonymous spectators. Hackers worldwide smelling blood. At midnight sharp, Ghost appeared. His avatar, a hooded phantom trailing binary smoke. Then came Reaper, Zero Cool, swaggering into the arena with digital guns blazing. What followed was a spectacle. Firewalls clashing like swords, code injections detonating like grenades. Lines of code scroll faster than human eyes could follow. Ghost taunted as he struck. Ghost, you can't kill what's already dead. Reaper countered with a lethal exploit, a 0-day backdoor buried in Ghost's own framework. For the first time, Ghost stumbled, and that's when the FBI made their move. The trace locked onto his signal, peeling back proxies like layers of an onion. Location: a derelict warehouse outside Tucson. Torres didn't wait for clearance. She grabbed a strike team and rolled out. Sirens wailed through the desert night. The warehouse loomed ahead, a black skeleton against the moonlit sky. Inside, servers hummed like angry bees. And in the center, hunched over a glowing laptop, was Ethan Cole. No guards, no backup, just a kid who looked more tired than terrifying. FBI, hands up, Torres shouted, gun leveled. Ethan turned slowly, eyes glinting with something between defiance and despair. You really think this ends with me? He said softly. And then he hit enter. Every screen in the room exploded in a cascade of code. The timer hit 0. Midnight. What happens when the clock runs out? Does America fall? Or did the FBI just walk into the biggest trap of all? Torres lunged forward, but Ethan didn't resist. He let the agents cuff him, eyes fixed on the monitors, as lines of code cascaded like falling rain. In Washington, alarms screamed through federal command centers. Stock exchanges froze mid-trade. Major banks saw balances scramble into gibberish. For a chilling 10 minutes, the U.S. economy flatlined. Social media erupted in chaos. Hashtag Cybergeddon trended worldwide. People posted videos of ATMs spitting out receipts with random numbers, airport screens going blank, even smart fridges flashing a message. Reset complete. It wasn't destruction. It was disruption on a scale America had never seen. Torres slammed a headset on. Cut the uplink now. But the Bureau's cyber team shouted back. We can't. The payload's decentralized, millions of nodes across peer-to-peer networks. It's like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube. Then, something strange happened. The chaos began to reverse. Systems rebooted. Balances restored. Flights rescheduled. It took 17 excruciating minutes, but order slowly returned. The world had just survived its first taste of digital Armageddon. Torres yanked Ethan toward the exit, furious. What was that? Ethan looked her dead in the eye. A preview. I wanted them to feel it, to know how fragile their empire is. But I didn't burn it down this time. Torres stared at him, realizing the terrifying truth. He never intended to destroy everything. He wanted to prove he could. By morning, Ethan Cole was a household name. News outlets branded him. The ghost who scared America. Digital terrorist or digital prophet. Cyberpunk messiah. Ethan Cole and the reset threat. While the FBI painted him as a national security threat, thousands online called him a hero, a modern Robin Hood. Hashtags like hashtag Ghost Was Right went viral. And in hacker forums, Ethan became a legend. His unfinished manifesto leaked within hours. Its final words chilling. This was never about money. It was about power, and proving that the ones who claim to control it don't. Ethan now sits in a federal supermax, awaiting trial on charges that could keep him behind bars for life. But even from his cell, his legend grows. Some say he hit another worm, dormant in millions of systems, waiting for his signal. The FBI denies it. But late at night, in quiet cyber units across the country, some agents still whisper, what if the clock starts ticking again? Before we wrap up, let's get real. This isn't just a story. It's a warning. Ghosts may be fictionalized here, but attacks like this are happening every day. From ransomware to phishing scams, cybercrime is the fastest growing threat to modern life. So here are 6 cybersecurity tips that could save you from becoming the next victim. White heavy checkmark 1. Use strong, unique passwords. Never reuse the same password across multiple accounts. Use a password manager to keep them secure. White heavy checkmark 2. Enable two-factor authentication. 2FA. This adds an extra layer of protection, even if your password gets stolen. White heavy checkmark 3. Beware of phishing emails. Never click suspicious links. Cybercriminals often mimic banks, delivery services, or even friends. White heavy checkmark 4. Update your software. Those annoying updates? They patch security holes hackers love to exploit. White heavy checkmark 5. Avoid public Wi-Fi without a VPN. Free Wi-Fi is a hacker's playground. Use a virtual private network VPN to stay safe. White heavy checkmark 6. Back up your data. Keep secure backups offline. If ransomware hits, you'll have the last laugh. Cybersecurity isn't just for techies. It's for everyone. One click can change your life. Ethan Cole thought he was saving the world by exposing its flaws. But in the process, he almost broke it. His story is a chilling reminder. The greatest threats aren't always the ones you can see. Sometimes they're sitting quietly behind a screen, planning the unthinkable. And here's the question I'll leave you with. Do you think Ghost was a villain or a visionary? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear from you. If this story gripped you, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe to Bite Crime for more chilling and educational stories about the dark side of the digital world. Turn on the bell icon so you never miss a single episode, because the next story might just change the way you look at the internet forever. Stay safe, stay smart, and remember, in the age of information, ignorance is the deadliest crime of all.